I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Silly Jedi! Silly Jedi!
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Hello, what have we here?
Hello there.
At last! Where have you been?
Nice of you guys to drop by.
Ah, good. New acquisitions.
I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Star Wars Car Talk, the Jedi Toy Masters podcast, where we drive around and we talk Star Wars. I'm Maurice Mercado. Thank you for joining us. If you're listening to us for the first time, I thank you for tuning in. Hope you subscribe, and if you're watching us on YouTube, I hope that you also subscribe and make sure you tell a friend. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, just make sure you write us a good review on iTunes, because apparently it helps. Just like YouTube has their little algorithm, iTunes algorithm relies on reviews on iTunes. So hopefully you enjoy this podcast. If you've been listening to us for a while now, thank you. And, hope to keep doing this. I mean, this is really, I selfishly do this because I enjoy talking Star Wars. And, anytime something newsworthy it comes out, which seems to be like on a weekly basis nowadays, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm working, and it's hard to have time to sit down and chat with someone Star Wars. I have most of my friends also are work and busy and stuff like that, so it's kind of hard to do that. That's a little window into our lives here. But so this is my way of getting to chat with you guys about Star Wars. So hopefully, if you're watching us for some time, you've heard me mention that we do have an email, and that's JediToyMasters@gmail.com. So you could please, you can shoot us an email, you can shoot us questions, comments, whatever, and I'll read them on the show, and try to answer those questions. So this week, we have some, actually it was last week, but we got some Star Wars toy news. So Hasbro put together this, what do you call it? Like a Toy Con type of thing. Like they call it the Hasbro Con. And it was obviously a virtual one because everything going on. And, all in all, it was not bad, being able to tune in. They had it on their YouTube channel live, and I think on Facebook as well. And it was interesting just to have the folks at Hasbro, the design team and the marketing team and all these people come together and present to us kind of like what's coming up. And, they did a lot of non-Star Wars stuff as well. But as far as Star Wars, what was interesting is that, we got some announcements, some announcements for some releases, some new releases from some figures, some repacks. And I probably should have written notes, but I'm actually doing it from memory right now because I just remember from the presentation. And the one that sticks out right away is they are kind of unveiling a lot of episode 1 figures in the Black Series collection, which I thought was kind of interesting, especially the one that stood out the most, which I'm sure everybody that's seen this or that follows any type of Instagram account online saw this, and people have been commenting, and that's the Jar Jar Binks Black Series figure. It's bittersweet that this figure is going to be released because especially it's the episode 1 figure of Jar Jar from the end battle, and he's got his spear and his shield from that battle at the end. And for all the crap that Jar Jar has gotten over the years, and all the negative stuff that even Ahmed Best, the actor who played Jar Jar, fell into some heavy-duty, serious depression, and he's talked about it in his life, that he's gone through that, but that he overcame, and kind of the character Jar Jar and the actor Ahmed Best have kind of emerged from all that, and there's a newfound love for the character and especially the actor. Ahmed Best, you see him now hosting the Jedi Temple Run, I think it's called. It's like a game show on the Star Wars Kids YouTube channel, and he plays a Jedi Master who, he's like the host of the game show, and it's really, really cool. It's kind of like a cross between Double Dare and Temple of what is it called? That Nickelodeon show, Hidden Temple. Oh man, I forgot. I'm gonna put it right here because I forgot what the name of it was. But it's kind of cool to see him emerge and be part of Star Wars again, and the fact that this action figure, I don't know if it's call it an action figure. Black Series is more kind of like a collector's piece, but they are action figures. It's kind of cool to have that, I mean, I personally don't collect Black Series. I do have, I'm not going to say I don't collect. I have collected Black Series, and I've kind of slowly have gotten rid of most of my Black Series, if not all. And what I do have now is that I've decided to just stick with a specific kind of like theme of Black Series. So I've been kind of collecting anything that has to do with kind of Mandalorian, the Mandalorian show, and or anything that's Mandalorian related as a Black Series, because I just think those figures are so cool. And if I'm gonna have a shelf of Black Series figures that I can like pose and play with my boys, I think those are kind of cool. And since the boys loved Mandalorian show, there you go. And they love the Clone Wars too. So you have Captain Rex, you have Jango Fett, and then you have the Boba Fett figure. So you can mix those in there with Mandalorian stuff. So that's kind of like what I have right now. But I won't be purchasing the Jar Jar Binks figure. But I encourage all of you guys, if you collect Black Series, give Jar Jar some love, because at the end of the day, he was a silly character, but he's a memorable one. And maybe there was some parts of his performance that was a little cringeworthy, just the cheese factor and the goofy factor or whatever. But at the end, I think when we start to take it too seriously, that's not what George Lucas's intent was. Like, there's certain aspects of Star Wars that I think we should take serious. A lot of the lessons that are trying to be taught through the films about life, about growing up, about not giving into the darkness, and always seeking out the light, always seeking out good. Those are the lessons that we should take seriously. But all the other stuff that's sprinkled into Star Wars it's there for fun, So, and I'm saying this because I need to hear it, because sometimes I can take it a little bit too serious. But anyway, so you have that. You have a couple other figures that are being released in the Black Series line. There's a new Boba Fett being released in the Black Series line. That's like a new mold and a new design from Return of the Jedi. He comes with some accessories, which is kind of cool. The Armorer, I think that's the name of the character from The Mandalorian. She's getting a new convention exclusive figure with bigger packaging and more accessories. That's kind of cool. And the usual Black Series, got the Archive Collection coming out so it's a whole line of just figures that have been released in the past and are kind of either being repackaged, or they say that they're a little bit enhanced. Maybe the face sculpts are changed a little bit, but they're being released under the Archive Collection banner. And what's interesting in the packaging on those, if you can see it, it has a 50 Lucasfilm logo on it. Now, I know Star Wars celebrated its 40th anniversary. They're not really close to reaching 50 yet. So it was interesting to see this 50 Lucasfilm, and these figures come out next year in 2021. So I'm curious as to, I'm assuming that's the anniversary of Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm was around for a while before Star Wars. I mean, George Lucas started writing Star Wars in 1975, and the film wasn't released until 2 years later. So, and before that, he did American Graffiti. So that was a couple years before. So, it's kind of interesting to think that Lucasfilm has been around for 50 years. That's the Black Series figures, and then you have Vintage Collection, which is more my alley, the ones that I'm more interested in. And you have You have a couple random figures. It's interesting how they just throw in these random like prequel figures and then original trilogy figures. Like they're releasing like an episode 2 Anakin with like a poncho, and they're releasing a Queen Amidala figure, I think from episode 1 from the costume, and then like a TIE fighter figure. So it's just interesting how they pick and choose what figures to release. It just like, it's cool that you got these vintage collection figures coming out, and the quality of them is so great. But it's like, why do they just release like these little bits at a time? Like that's the thing that kind of gets me about Hasbro. It's like, just do like, okay, Christmas is coming, we're gonna release like 20 new figures, or 12 new figures. Like make it 12. Star Wars and figures and 12 go together like peanut butter and jelly. Do 12 figures and say, for the holiday season, these 12 figures are coming out, and boom, like now you got to go find them all and collect them all, and have the stores stocked with them. It's interesting. I posted a video earlier this week. I hope you check it out on YouTube, and it was a toy hunt that my boys and I did over the weekend, and we went to how many Targets? I think we went to 2 Targets, almost 3. It was getting late. And over the course of 2 days, we did 4 Walmarts. We were driving up to see my parents upstate, and on that entire drive, we basically did 4 Walmarts and 2 Targets. And it's just pathetic, the lack of figures, the lack of Star Wars stuff that you see. I mean, yeah, you got some stuff like you got some books and some baby Yoda, the child plushies and toys and stuff like that, and you have like some Star Wars themed lightsabers and other type of toys. But as far as figures, I found one in one of the Targets. I found one vintage collection K2SO from the recent line, a K2SO, which I guess was a pretty good find, considering I've not seen any of the new line in out there. So at least where I live in New York. So it was interesting. I grabbed that one, and then at a Walmart, I finally, hit a little mini jackpot, and I found the 40th anniversary Empire Boba Fett, which again, I'm not a big 6-inch collector, but it was Boba Fett, so I picked that one up. And they had the Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader, which I think is hard to find. Like, I haven't really seen it, or so they had it. I didn't pick that one up, but it's just interesting that they pick and choose what figures to release, and they do them in these little spurts, and then you're kind of forced to have to go on the Hasbro Pulse website and order them there right away, and it takes the fun out of it. Like, what about going to a store and seeing them all on pegs and just like, oh man, and looking at them and saying, oh, how many figures should I get? Oh, can I grab all of them? Oh man, I don't have enough money. Like that, all that's part of the experience of like going out and buying toys. And even as a collector, as an adult, it's part of it. It's part of the culture too, that the toy hunt, it's the thrill of the hunt. But if it's not much of a hunt, if you're just going out to 4 Walmarts and you're barely finding anything, so Hasbro needs to really take those things into consideration. And it's like, you release these figures, you pick and choose it, you do it in such a minuscule way, and they announce all these releases, they announce all these other figures that are coming out, which are cool. It's okay, it's good, okay, fine. That's a lot of interesting things. They not that long ago, they announced that they were releasing these collections, these figure collections, like these era sets, and those actually are available for pre-order. And that's the other thing. Everything's pre-order. Like, you're just so afraid to actually make these toys that you don't think they're going to sell, that you have to announce them months in advance so that people pre-order them. You're like, oh no, you got to pre-order it. And that just is so, it's kind of sleazy when you think about it. I mean, when you think about the the origins of Kenner and the Star Wars back in the day, and then Hasbro taking over, and then Hasbro, you know, re-releasing the figures in the 90s, and then with the prequels, and you know, and even up to the time of the Clone Wars. I mean, granted, I wasn't a big fan of the Clone Wars when it was first came out, so I didn't go out and buy figures. I was busy getting married and like starting my life, you know, as an adult. And but I kind of regret not having, because now I love the Clone Wars, and now I wish there was more Clone Wars toys. And my sons love the Clone Wars, and now I kind of, you know, I'm like always on the hunt for, you know, reasonably priced, pre-used figures and toys from the Clone Wars cartoon. So that's really hard to find. But, you know, man, even when the Clone Wars was out, the toy line for Clone Wars was amazing, the stuff that was out. And that leads us to our next topic of discussion today, which is Hasbro and their, I guess, fear of making product that won't sell, or you know, going big because they're afraid, you know, it's going to cost too much and they might not sell enough or whatever. Yeah, a couple years ago they did a HasLab, which is basically their Kickstarter, and they did a HasLab project for the sail barge, and we all remember the sail barge, this ginormous thing, which was awesome. I mean, I watched every single video that I could of people unboxing them and, you know, reviewing them and checking them out, and you know, I'm looking at this thing going, wow, it was like the USS Flag. Remember the G.I. Joe USS Flag, that thing? It was like that, and it was you know, amazing, but like, first, it was way too much money. I forgot how much it was, but it was way too much money. Obviously, people that are collectors and, you know, have it to do it, did it, and backed it, and got it. And it was huge. It was huge because, you know, it's like, where are you going to put this thing? I mean, that's the thing is, like, where are you going to put this thing? Oh, something going on over here. But, like, where are you going to put something that massive, that big? You know, unless you have a place for it and you have the budget for it, you know, it's just not possible. But I thought it was cool, and it would have been cool to be able to get one. So anyway, they've done a couple of HasLabs. Some have failed miserably, some have not. And now they unveiled a new Star Wars HasLab, basically like Kickstarter, which is the razorcrest from The Mandalorian. And look at that. That is just amazing. It looks so cool. And you know, I'll open this up, get some extra light. It looks just amazing. It's obviously not painted, and but you know, in the images they show enough detail and of what it's going to be. And man, at $350 to back it, they needed, I think, $6,000 to be fully funded, and I think within the first day they got fully funded. In fact, now they have two extended, I guess, backing whatever things, whatever you call it. But at 8,000, if they got to 8,000, they were going to add an escape pod to it that was designed, but they didn't know, you know, if they were going to do it or not. And it surpassed 8,000. So now it's going to come with this escape pod that you can put a figure in. It's really cool. And then now the next stretch goal, that's the word I was looking for, is if they get to 10,000, they're going to include the child figure, vintage collection, the child figure with his little pod, little crib thing, which is amazing because it's already going to include the Mandalorian in the Beskar metal chromed out or whatever figure. So man, this thing looks amazing. And you know, on social media, on Instagram, I posted a little poll basically saying, man, should I start a GoFundMe for this thing? Because, you know, $350 compared to a lot of toys that have come out and where we are right now. And yeah, $350, it's a lot of money, but it's not like $650, which, you know, I mean, it's it's still a lot of money. I'm trying to justify it, but I can't. I can't spend $350 on a toy it's basically going to be for display purposes. Although for me, like I could totally see myself playing with it and playing with my, I have three boys, just hanging out and just admiring this thing for hours and hours. But $350 is a lot of money. So I asked the question on Instagram. I said, hey, if I start a GoFundMe, like should I? And, I got a lot of the majority, I think something like 80 or 90% of the responses that I got was, yeah, go for it. And so I'm tempted. I'll say it here. I'm very tempted to basically just say, hey, if you donate to us so that we can raise money to get it, I would be willing to back it, obviously, with that money. And once we get it, which I think will be like next year sometime, we'll do a complete full unboxing video. We'll do a review video. I will post pictures of it. I mean, I'll post a video of me and my sons playing with it, just as a thank you for everyone that helped us. I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm seriously considering it because, man, I think everyone has until end of November to basically back it to see if they get to the 10,000 stretch goal. And then after that, that's it. It's closed and you can't back it. You can't basically pre-order it. So, $350 is a lot of money when you're a grown up and you have responsibilities. So we'll see what happens, but it looks really cool. And I mean, it's 30 inches long and I think 20 inches wide and I think 10 inches tall and just amazing to look at. Very big. I mean, when you think about it, it's essentially like the Legacy Collection Millennium Falcon or the new Vintage Collection Millennium Falcon. That's like the Galaxy's Edge edition. That is, I think, I don't know. I haven't seen one, but some are out there in the wild at Targets, and I think the pre-orders for that were sold out. But yeah, in the long line of huge Star Wars vehicles, this is, man, a beauty, especially since that ship, the history of the Razor Crest, when you think about the making of the show, The Mandalorian, and how they came up with the design. And there's a really great video on YouTube, the Industrial Light and Magic YouTube channel, ILM, did a really great video on the creation of the Razor Crest and how they ended up building an actual model of the Razor Crest and filming that model for a lot of the shots for the show, along with building a 3D version, a CGI version. So it's just amazing that this ship is, has become famous in its own right, like the Millennium Falcon. I mean, I personally really like the ship from Star Wars Rebels, the Ghost. I think it's very controversial to say, but I think I like the Ghost more than the Millennium Falcon. Just the look and all the practicality of it, and when you see it in action in the show and all that. I mean, man, today is like ambulance day here. There's just a lot going on. I hope everyone is safe. Oh my goodness. But yeah, the Ghost is kind of like Ghost and Millennium Falcon are like just right there, man. They're neck and neck. But the Razor Crest is a very close second or third. But it would be great to get it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We still have some time, a little bit of time to decide whether we pull the trigger on it or to put it out there to you guys, to the fans, to see if you guys would be willing to help us out to get one. I have no shame in asking for a handout when it comes to getting that, because $350 is pretty steep. But the Razor Crest HasLab project is fully funded and it's gonna happen. It's a weird time that we live in. Hasbro, a company that makes toys, a corporation, is kickstarting projects. I mean, that's just amazing to me that that's actually a thing. We're so used to in the past just toy companies just coming up with toys. Some are winners, some are losers, but they do it. They put it out there, and this is just, I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird and it's bittersweet, and I get mixed feelings about it because on the one hand, it's like, why should we support a company that doesn't really care about the fans as much, because they almost don't trust us as fans to go out and buy, and that's why they do such little quantity, and they release things so sparingly, and you kind of are forced to pre-order stuff because you're better off. You're more than likely never going to find it in the store because there's such few that actually make it out there. But on the other hand, man, like, if this is the only way that we'll get it. This is the only way we'll get it, is pre-ordering it and backing it on HasLab. And, so if you're really into it, nobody should judge, but if you have strict, like, a moral code to say, no, that's not right, and you don't do it and you kind of boycott it, that's fine too. It's everyone, all of us have the right to do that. But that's basically it for this week. I just wanted to talk about this stuff that's happening with Hasbro and these toys. And we are Jedi Toy Masters. You can follow us on Instagram and see what we're about. I just love, the Star Wars toys have just such a connection to my childhood, more so the movies and the toys, but the toys really, and I've mentioned this before, it was a way for me to kind of connect Star Wars to my adolescence, and also kind of bring my brother and I closer together, because it's how I got him into Star Wars. And to this day, I mean, we still, we'll talk about it. We're like, hey, did you see this figure? I mean, I've been looking for it. We go on little toy hunts separately and try to find stuff. So it's cool. And now my boys love it. I have 3 sons that love Star Wars, and they love going on little toy hunts. So check out that video of our recent toy hunt. I'll link it below in the description. And guys, thank you for joining us this week. Please make sure if you have any questions to hit us up on Instagram at Jedi Toy Masters or at Star Wars Car Talk, or on our email, jeditoymasters@gmail.com, and let us know what you think. Send me some questions and I'll answer them on the show here. And until next time, guys, that's it for now. Remember,
The Force will be with you, always.